President Obama saying that he's confident that his drive to overhaul health care will succeed in a New York Times op-ed piece that was published today. The president citing powerful organizations as allies in his fight, including the American Medical Association and the AARP. But the nation's seniors may not be on his side. Joining us now is Jim Martin. He is the president of the 60+ Association. It's a lobbying organization representing over 500,000 seniors nationwide. Good to talk to you, Mr. Martin. Thanks very much for being here. And I'm curious as to why the president would include this in an op-ed piece today when he caught flack earlier in the week when he said that the AARP was on his side. They quickly came out and said, that's not the case, Mr. President. What about your organization?
Well, I think the AARP, the ARP as I call them, just shorthand way, they're slipping and sliding away from this proposal because the heat is on. There are thousands of seniors that are flocking toward the 60+ Association as they learn more and more that the ARP is in bed with this huge overhaul of health care. They don't like it one bit. They don't like the provisions in the bill. They're up in arms about it, and so are we.
What is your main beef with the reform that's been talked about in Washington?
The Medicare cuts, over $500 million worth of cuts, are staring us in the face. There's been story after story about these cuts. Ron Wyden, senator from Oregon, has said he will fight them. But listen, I'm a very conservative type person. Limited government, less taxes. $500 billion in cuts. The CBO office says there's probably another $116 billion, including Medicare and Medicaid. So it's really $616 billion in cuts facing seniors. They don't like it one bit. That's to help finance insurance for 45 million uninsured. We're saying go find the money elsewhere. Senior citizens have paid into this program for the whole life of it, the 44 years that it's been in existence. Seniors have paid their dues, and now they're in their twilight years and they're being asked to take cuts. That's going to be fewer hospitals, fewer reimbursements to hospitals. There'll be fewer doctors. There's already a huge nursing shortage.
Let me jump
country.
in, Mr. Martin, because
the
president
shortage also.
There seems to be a disconnect because the president is addressing exactly the concerns that you are stating. And I'll go back to his piece that I printed out this morning from the New York Times. He says that by making Medicare more efficient, he says that more tax dollars will go directly to the care for senior citizens. He says reform will reduce the amount that seniors have to pay for prescription drugs, and he says that it will help out with seniors and the health care that they receive in this country. What is the president saying that you're obviously not believing?
Well, I'm from the old school. I'm not going to say my president is lying. I think they're playing fast and loose with the truth.
Well, there's really not much of a difference there, sir, if you don't mind me saying, between saying that he's playing fast and loose with the truth and that he's lying. He comes out day after day. I've heard him say it over and over again, and he's talking to seniors as well as everybody else, and he says that if you have health insurance that you like, you can keep it. If you have a doctor who you like, you can continue to see that doctor. He keeps saying it, and people like yourself and others just aren't buying into that idea, and I'm just wondering why not.
Well, again, yesterday in Colorado, for example, he started talking about tax cuts and leaving more money with you, the taxpayer, and you can... If you like the plan you're under, you can keep it. No one is going to come between you and your doctor. I closed my eyes for a minute, and I thought it was George Bush I was listening to about tax cuts, tax relief, if you will. Clearly, this is look. Everybody agrees there has to be some health care reform, but on the other hand, you don't throw a wrecking ball at a system that has served seniors in particular so well through the years.
Let me ask you one more question here about about another part of this debate that opponents to the president's plan have been talking a lot about. Yesterday in Colorado, the president spoke pretty passionately about his own grandmother, whom he lost just days before the election last November, as a way to try to persuade people that he is not interested in pushing our country towards these quote-unquote death panels that so many people have been talking about. A lot of people have come out since then and said that there is no talk of death panels in any of the bills, any of the ideas that are being floated around Washington. The president's remarks on this yesterday, did he convince you, sir, that he is not trying to push the country towards some kind of government-insisted euthanasia?
Well, let me answer it in this fashion. That language is so ambiguous that everybody is talking about it on both sides. Senator Grassley the other day said, we're going to take it out of the bill. I think that's a move in the right direction. If you want to assuage senior citizens who are in the twilight of their years that that's not the case, that's fine. But I thought it was rather ironic that the president was saying, and I heard his passion about his grandmother. I lost my favorite senior, my mother, my sainted mom, a few years ago. Nobody wants to go down that path, but I'm telling you this, that is a politically explosive issue. I thought it was rather ironic that it was in Colorado because that is the state where the first person who ever brought up this type of language about perhaps we should look at those in the twilight of their years, perhaps those terminally ill, they should not be put on life-saving medicines. That was none other than a Democratic governor named Richard Lamb in Colorado about 30 years ago.
Jim Martin is the president of the 60 Plus Association, an organization that's getting a lot of attention now that so many seniors are upset with the AARP and their views on health care reform. Mr. Martin, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us today.
Thank you. Glad to be with you.